think one thing's pretty clear is you will never be welcome back as a coachman.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at the biggest bust-ups, rows and complaints on 4 in a Bed.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Posh sheds.
It's like being in a shed, but a posh shed.
Undoubtedly, glamping is an acquired taste for people who want to pretend they like the great outdoors, but actually can't go a night without their phone charger. These B&B owners knew that and talked about it going in, and yet were still surprised when various guests said they wouldn't come back.
Looking forward to what you have to say on why you don't want to come back again.
So Craig, for us, I feel in your price point, I think it needed attention.
But the posh sheds were ultimately determined to be good value for money, and the same couldn't be said for the most expensive venue of the bunch.
I felt, this is almost getting a bit grotty.
I think the word grotty, for me, is very harsh.
Craig and Rachel were horrified to be underpaid, but with a lacklustre breakfast and stains on the toilet seat, what did they expect from a hotel competition show?
So you think that the issues that you have mentioned is worth taking £35 off the price?
Yes.
Number 9. Anonymity while eating.
If you guys were actually staying in a guest house like this, would you chat with the other guests? Personally, I think I'd probably feel a bit too intimate.
We hate being recognised when we're having our breakfast, don't you? Well, these people certainly did, because they wrote it on their feedback forms, baffling the owners. Tom and Angela thought the tables in the dining room were far too close and hated the thought of having to speak to their fellow guests at the breakfast table.
Prefer anonymity while eating. Is that to be anonymous? Did they not want to eat in front of everybody else? I don't know.
It's not a complaint we've ever heard before on 4 in a Bed, since usually they seem to enjoy the opportunity to gossip about whether the eggs have been cooked properly.
When we go away, we want to get away from others. We want to just be together. We prefer that sort of anonymity.
We quite like it the way it's set out.
But of course, it's a competition. So if Tom and Angela could find an arbitrary criticism, they were going to deliver it. Number 8. Self-catering.
It was stated in the book that you have to strip your own bedding and that you have to take all of your own rubbish out and put it in the correct recycling bins and stuff.
Like the glamping, it's always a risk going on 4 in a Bed if your bed and breakfast doesn't provide breakfast. You're definitely going to enrage the guests by foregoing the traditional fry-up. But there's self-catering, and then there's whatever this was, where the guests were also expected to do their own turn down.
We've been self-catering before, and I've never come across where you've got to pack your laundry up and empty your trash. But I just feel that it should be included as housekeeping.
The owners defended themselves by saying that they've had to take out their own rubbish plenty of times, but we can't help but agree with the criticism here. Why pay for a hotel or a B&B if you're expected to do the bins and strip the beds yourself?
Us as a business, we are self-catering and people know that when they are coming.
You are self-catering, so we get that. It's just how we felt.
Another couple also refused to stay again on the basis that they wanted a welcome pack.
It doesn't necessarily have to be expensive, just maybe like a small loaf of bread or something just to start you off in the morning and have your tea and a bit of bread.
Number 7. Endless underpayments.
We feel the room is worth £75 including breakfast.
In all sincerity, we do think it's worth 85, or other people would charge more for the room.
This lot just didn't get along, immediately at odds because of the breakfast at this bed and breakfast not being included in the price. That was far from the end of the story though, because one pair of owners turned out to be serial underpayers.
We underpaid them by £5. I think that was more than generous in regards that I didn't actually have a great night's sleep.
Sharon and Debbie underpaid by a £5 because Sharon was woken up at the unbearably early time of 8 o'clock in the morning by an alarm in another room. Yes, really. When it was time to face their own criticism though, Sharon couldn't take it.
I honestly don't think our pods are like a student flat, and if they were, there's some lucky students out there with those views and those facilities.
She got underpaid herself at every turn, largely because of her overpriced breakfast and the guests believing that for prices around £160 per night, they should have breakfast included.
For me, it's like saying you didn't want to pay for the breakfast and you've sat in a nice cafe and you've enjoyed a nice breakfast and you didn't want to pay for it. Thanks very much for the money for the pod. You've eaten a free breakfast.
Number 6. Comparisons. This payment day was a masterclass in how to be passive-aggressive, with some of the most thinly veiled tension we've ever seen.
That's an underpayment of £7. Would you like to explain why?
Basically, in comparison to my place, I didn't think that I could actually pay you the full amount.
Sue was comparing everybody to herself and how well she thought she ran her business. And if they didn't measure up to her exactly, she seemed to get a bit worked up.
Comparisons to the price. For what I charge, I think personally it's better than yours, but that's a personal opinion.
Trisha hit back though, ranking Sue low because of a draft around the door, leading to accusations of game playing in this game show.
I'm not going to row with you.
And neither am I.
That's my opinion, and I'm not taking it any further than that.
Okay.
You wouldn't think it would be that hard to include a draft excluder in the rooms if she knew it was a problem, which she said she had, but apparently it was. So they only gave her a 5.
It's the design of the taps.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a problem. Yes, that's it.
Number 5, lack of character.
We've had comments made about our rooms lacking character. I think that they've lacked the point.
And we've got lots of questions that we want answered.
These two were livid to be told their rooms were bland and basic. They defended themselves by saying that the simple furniture was easier to clean and look after, but it didn't wash.
Yeah, they're very clinical, they're very clean, but there's no character in them. You know, you go upstairs and you could be absolutely anywhere.
They were slapped with a £10 underpayment from Joe and Craig, with everybody else paying in full, and the interrogation started all over.
We believe that our family room is worth the £120, but we'll accept your payment of £110.
Later though, it came out that Louise and Kerry had been extremely mercenary with everybody else, giving them low ratings and deeply insulting underpayments in retaliation for shoddy feedback.
So that's a £15 underpayment. You couldn't get a hostel for that. Sorry, I am disappointed in that payment.
That was the problem with the most vindictive owners going first. They didn't know the payments, but they did see their poor reviews and guessed that they were in trouble. Number 4, dusty fronds.
So, you said it was significant. Was it really, really bad?
It was significant enough that you could like pick it up and have like a little chunk of dust in your fingers.
It's always a nightmare when you arrive at a B&B or a hotel and realise that the decorative fronds haven't been dusted in a while. But is this an overreaction to criticism? Yes, definitely. After being criticised for the dusting not being up to snuff, Fareed went off on one, hitting them with deeply personal insults.
There's absolutely no comparison between your room, which to me was like a converted chicken shack.
So you calling my place chicken shack?
Tamsin and Roman could have easily retorted with something just as personal, but decided not to go that route, rising above his insults that were, truly, out of order.
OK, if I have to apologise, I'll try and apologise. We're talking about a competition here, OK, and we're talking about our businesses.
He attempted to apologise in the room, but then, during his next talking head, told the cameras that he didn't regret seeing what he did.
I absolutely stand by what I said, that the room we stayed in, to me, was no more than a converted chicken shack. Cluck, cluck.
Number 3. Inedible eggs.
Everything's just really sticky. The salt pot's sticky. My plate was sticky when I got it.
It's very creamy.
At the end of the day, if it's going in my mouth, I want it to be clean.
Who knew that poached eggs would cause so much drama? Dean and Abby were thrilled to welcome people to their pub hotel in Derbyshire, but everything went wrong over breakfast. Everybody ordered poached eggs, but all wound up disappointed, with each egg undercooked.
Too runny.
Oh, they are really runny, mind, aren't they, yours?
I can't eat that.
My egg's not cooked enough, if I'm honest. The white bit's still a bit runny.
Dean took this very personally, later telling the Derby Telegraph that the show had made mugs of him and his daughter. But what did he think would happen after nitpicking everyone else and boasting about his breakfast?
We have decided to withdraw from the competition because we feel we've been treated unfair on the scores.
Wounded by the feedback, he and Abby later dropped out of the entire competition, refusing to turn up for the final episode after the cleanliness of the utensils was called into question.
Can't believe they gave us a 3 for that breakfast. That's disgusting.
Number 2, 20 quid.
You scored me a 2 for how clean was the coachman in. Didn't sleep in the bed due to poor cleaning. dust everywhere, shower too dirty to use.
The shower itself was a big problem.
One of the most outrageous underpayments in four-in-a-bed history, Rakib and Raj were completely unsympathetic to their fellow hoteliers.
As soon as we walked in, I think the hotel side's been totally neglected. From the whole cleanliness to the way things were looked after was really poor.
I disagree with that comment.
After scoring Justin only a 2 out of 10 for cleanliness, he had a bone to pick, especially when they paid him only £20. Not an underpayment of £20, but £20 in total.
10, 20.
No.
20 quid, Rack and Raj.
I think for us to give any more than that from the feedback that we give wouldn't be justified.
Another couple also had things to say about the uncleanliness, but they only underpaid by 2 quid. Clearly, Rakib was so desperate to win that he didn't care what the others thought of him, taking no prisoners in his quest to get that coveted 4-in-a-bed certificate.
We had problems with the shower and the bed, but we still didn't drop that much.
I think that's actually disgraceful. I'm really angry.
Number 1, not worth the money.
Can you explain why I was paid 60?
Because the curtains let in the light and I couldn't sleep. The fridge was making a noise. I wasn't really impressed with the walking and the pond. That's what I
think it's very much Ziggy's decision.
Oh, thanks.
Ziggy prided himself on being nasty, but nobody else did. After giving glowing feedback to the other owners, he brutally underpaid them, seemingly for no reason, since he didn't actually have a bad time.
In your comments, though, you gave me no indication.
Yeah.
This has shocked me.
Yeah.
It really, really has shocked me.
His wife tried to balance him out and admitted to being just as upset by his underpayments, but that didn't stop him. There were tears at the table before the final episode was through, with Claire almost having a breakdown after getting just £60 of the £85 the room cost. And who can blame her?
And we've got £50. Well, I'm absolutely bloody outraged. That is absolutely appalling. It sickens me, it upsets me.
His behaviour throughout the competition was just cruel. But considering their B&B turned out to be rubbish, we're not surprised they acted like this. Luckily, they didn't win.
It is a competition. Take what we say on the chin.
You're basically saying that both Claire and our places are worth less than your rooms, which is just ludicrous.
Let us know your worst B&B experiences in the comments.
I think it's a very low score, even for those bits, and I'm very upset by that.
I'm sorry we've upset you.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.